Okay, this is the Math 31 section 1.2 homework help, and I hope this little video helps you get through this section. Please note that the problems shown are from Form A, and you might be assigned a different form. So we're going to look at the first section, problems 1 through 4, and we'll move on after that. Okay, this section, the instructions are we're supposed to determine the place value of the 5 that's underlined in the problem. So what I've done here is made a little chart to refer to. The place values are starting in the billions column. Billions, and then there's the millions, namely the 100 millions, 10 millions, and the millions themselves. So 100 millions, 10 millions, and millions. And then it goes thousands, 100,000s, 10,000s, and then thousands themselves. And finally the ones period, which was the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. And they're all listed there, so when we start doing these problems, we're just going to refer to that little chart. Okay, the first one we're supposed to do is this 5 right here in that spot. And if you work from right backwards left, you can see that it's not in the ones column or in the tens column or the hundreds column. That 5 is in the thousands column. So we're going to note that answer, thousands. Okay, the next one here, the 5 is shifted over further to the left. It's right over here. And that lines up with, let's see, let's count from the left here. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, 10 millions. Okay, so we're in the 10 millions column. Okay, in the next section, we're supposed to write these words out with all their place values. We're supposed to write these numbers out in words with their place value settings here. So we're going to start with the thousands, and there's 42 of those. So please notice when I write the word 42, I use a hyphen. Any two-word number between between 21 and 99 needs a hyphen. 42, and then that comma separates the thousands from the ones, so we have to place value, put the period here, 42,000, then a comma. And now we're ready for the ones part, and there's 508 of those. Please notice that I did not use the word and that's, you'll find out later in this course, that's an indicator of a decimal point, and there's no decimal point in this problem. So 42,508, and you use a comma between the thousands. Okay, here's a longer version. We're in the millions to start with, so 618. And those are millions. 618 million, comma. And then the next period is the thousands period, and there's 72 of those. 70 hyphen 2,000. Okay, and now the last one is the ones, and there's 190 of those. And this is the period that you don't actually write. You don't put ones there. You just end it. So, like that. Now, if it was 195, I'd say 190 hyphen 5 and put my period. you don't actually put the period like we did with the other ones. Here you had millions and thousands, but for the ones you leave it off. Okay, the next section, we're supposed to do the same thing. It's just in the context of more information. So really here you can ignore everything except the number that's underlined ultimately, but they do want you to understand that these things don't occur in a vacuum. They're usually sandwiched into context. So Acme Incorporated budgeted $624,175 for salaries during the first quarter of the year. Okay, so we have to write that number out. So we'll start with the thousands, and there's 624 of them. And you put the period, 1,000, 100, 70, -5. And you don't put the ones down, you don't say ones. And notice that nowhere in the problem did I use the word and. Okay, the next section here, we're kind of going the other direction. We're given the words and we're asked to write it in standard form. So let's see, write each whole number in standard form. Okay, so the first one is 205,000. You heard me say the word and, but it's not written there. So 205,853. That one's done. The distance between the two bridges was 13,042. 13,042, you have to introduce an empty place value. There's no hundreds mentioned. Okay, this is a little different. We're supposed to write this in expanded form. And in expanded form, you actually show the numerical value of each digit, including its place value. So to explain that, I'm just going to concentrate on that 3 there. That is actually not a 3. It's 3,000 by virtue of the place value it's in. So you're actually going to write it like that. You're going to say 3,000 plus the 2 is in the hundred spot, so it's really 200. The 5 is in the 10 spot, so that's really 50. And then 8 more added onto it. So there's the expanded version of that number. We'll do the same with this one here. The 6 is in the 10,000 spot, so it's actually 60,000. Plus the 2, which is in the thousands, plus the 3, which is in the hundreds. There are no 10s, but there are 4 ones also, so we'll just tack a +4 at the end. And that does it for us in section 1.2. I hope these little videos help you and that you spend the time to view the whole thing instead of just fast forwarding through them.